Welcome back to the Elevate Compliance Podcast. My name is Will Gilmore, and I really appreciate you tuning in for this special edition episode. As you may or may not know, Elevate Compliance is a sponsor of Dental Nachos, and Dental Nachos, which is a huge online Facebook group for dentists, an incredible platform created by Dr. Paul Goodman out of Philadelphia. And they put on their big event this past weekend in Philadelphia called Super Dentist Boost Camp. And it's a really unique event because it's geared specifically towards either new practice owners or dentists who are going to be buying their practice, in the near future. And it was such an incredible experience. I caught up with a bunch of really cool people. I'm gonna play some interviews that I captured while I was there in Philadelphia. It was really neat. And I got to meet some amazing people and just get some different perspectives on the dental industry because I live in Seattle, Washington. We're based, outside of Seattle. And so I very much have a West Coast view of the dental industry. And not that dentistry is probably, that vastly different, state to state or country to country, but I met some incredible people from all around the world, all around the United States, and got a lot of different perspectives on how dentistry operates, both in terms of the vendors that I met with, the dentists, the dental students that were going to be graduating in the next few years. And so I'm going to play some of those interviews. I don't have one particular interview guest that we're going to have on this episode because this is kind of the special Dental Nachos Super Dentist Boost Camp special episode of the Elevate Compliance Podcast. So we'll get to that in just a moment, but first I want to talk about the Olympics, which also ended last week. It was actually really fun because while I was in Philadelphia, the Olympics were wrapping up. So a couple of the evenings after the event was over, some dentists, some vendors, and we were, having drinks, went out to dinner, were able to watch some Olympics. It was really neat. But obviously, at the end of the day, the United States did what they often do, and that was they crushed it in the Olympics, ultimately ended up tying with China for the most gold medals. But overall, the total medal count, the United States blew everybody else out of the water. I think that's kind of what the U.S. has sort of been, we've come to expect that now. But just some incredible performances. The men's and women's runners were just incredible. Simone Biles did a great job. Katie Ledecky had just incredible performance. So really, it was a fun, very patriotic time for me because I am a big sports fan, and when it comes to the Olympics, especially a lot of the Olympic sports, I'll be honest, I watch the Olympics for what they are. I don't follow most of the sports or the athletes that compete for the majority of the sports. I'm mostly, football, baseball, those are kind of my sports. But it is always a fun time watching the Olympics for me because you really get to see the whole world in one place. And it's so fascinating to me to watch all these different athletes because I know a lot of them, have grown up competing against each other in international competitions and they've known each other for years. So it's just really fun to get to see the entire world in one place. And I think France did an excellent job of putting on the Olympics. It was just, great places to compete. The energy was so exciting there and it was a lot of fun. This was one of the first years, in the last few Olympics that I really paid attention to a lot of the medal counts and a lot of the competitions, and it was just a blast. So it was a great time. Really enjoyed watching the Olympics. I'm bummed that they're over, but we have, of course, the Winter Olympics in a couple of years to look forward to, which will be great. So before I get into the specifics of what we talked about and the people that I interviewed at Super Dentist Boost Camp, I'd like to just kind of explain a little bit about what the event was and how it went. So Super Dentist Boost Camp, as I mentioned a minute ago in my little intro, is all about new dentists or new practice owners, rather, not new dentists, but new practice owners. So, they really gear it towards either dentists who have recently bought a practice or dentists who are going to be practice owners in the near future. And for me, that really is an excellent time to get in touch with these dentists because one of the things that I heard as a common theme throughout the entire weekend is that compliance is not something that is really taught in dental school. And that's such a bummer because it is such a vital part of a practice operation, but it's just not something that is really paid much attention to in the schools. And so, I had conversations with a lot of dentists who didn't even realize that certain things were rules or didn't realize how the, different lawmakers approach and enforce the regulations. And so it was really eye-opening for me to see just how little education there is for compliance, when the students are in school. And so it was awesome to get to, connect with them. I met with a lot of vendors. It was incredible to hear some just amazing speakers. It was really, truly a transformative event. And so if anybody is listening to this episode and you just recently bought a practice or you're considering buying a practice in the next few years, I strongly encourage you, reach out to Dr. Paul Goodman, Dr. Nacho. You can sign up, to be a member of Dental Nachos. It's totally free to join the Facebook platform. And you just get access to so many great things. You have access to vendors and key resources that, as Dr. Goodman likes to say, make you cry less inside and outside. And really, just a community of people who want to see the profession grow, expand, and improve. And that's really one of the things that I absolutely loved about this event, because I could feel it. It was palpable there, how much everybody just wants to support each other and wants this industry to succeed. And you've heard me say before on previous episodes of the Elevate Compliance podcast that I love this industry. I love how intimate it is. I love how everybody knows everybody. And I love how, connected everyone is to each other. And this event was just really, really absolutely, brought that to life. And so it was just a great event. And one of the first people that I caught up with when the event started, on the first night, we got to have a social hour networking event. There were some wine and some beers going around. Everybody was having a good time, having some drinks. And I had the opportunity to catch up briefly with Dr. Mike Scruggs out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and Dr. Bert Chan out of New Jersey. So this was my interview with them. It's a little bit hard to hear because it was very loud on the floor there. I did my best to edit it, so hopefully it doesn't sound too bad. But this is me talking to Dr. Mike Scruggs and Dr. Bert Chan. And for a little bit of context, we had to put our favorite TV show on our name badges, which was just a great way to kind of get conversations going. So my favorite TV show pretty much of all time is the show Justified. So I had Justified on mine. So here is the interview with Mike Scruggs and Bert Chan.
All right, so I'm here with Dr. Mike Scruggs out at Murfreesboro, Tennessee. So thanks, Dr. to meet you. And so just real quickly, I see you got the office there. Do you have a particular favorite character from the office?
You have what now?
A particular favorite character?
I don't. I think it's Dwight, man.
Dwight, okay.
Dwight is hilarious. He's always prepared for everything.
Okay.
So I love Dwight, man. And we're in Pennsylvania, so I thought it was funny,
There you go. Awesome. Right on. And so what are you looking forward to most in terms of what you're getting out of this event this weekend?
Yeah, so I love everything that Dr. Goodman does with Dental Nachos, and I was really looking for connections and what I can take back to the office and kind of build the office quicker and allow it to kind of be more compliant with different things, and what I can do to help my staff and just have a good team where I can have good leadership. I know that's a lot of his focuses for this weekend, so I'm excited about it.
Is there a particular speaker that you're looking forward to seeing most?
Well, I've been wanting to meet Dr. Goodman for a long time, so I'm interested to see what he has to say, honestly.
Yeah. This is my first time meeting too, and there's a little bit of Star-Struckness there.
Exactly. It's pretty cool. I have the biggest dental Facebook. That's crazy.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty good.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking a minute with me. I'll catch you again at some point during the weekend.
Sweet. Thanks, Will.
All right, so I'm here with Dr. Bird. What's your last name, Dr. Bird?
Chan.
Dr. Bird Chan. Thanks for being here with me. I see your favorite show is The Big Bang Theory. So am I true in guessing that the obvious favorite character is Shelton? Everybody always loves.
Pretty much, yeah, okay. Exactly. That's what made the show worth watching. And I'm like a nerd through and through, I suppose. So I appreciate all the stereotypes, and they don't paint the culture very fondly, but I get too many of the references, so I still enjoy the show.
There you go, perfect, awesome. Yeah. And so you practice in New York, right?
New Jersey.
I'm sorry,
yes.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what are you looking forward to most about your trip to Boost Camp this weekend?
So, just learning from people who have done it longer and better than I am. We're all trying to just figure this out as a newer practice owner, multi-practice owner. I'm trying to really just keep my mind open and kind of see, what I can do to make sure that not only can I take care of myself well, but make sure my staff and my patients are taken care of as well.
Awesome.
Save myself a little sanity at the same time.
Love it. Well, I think that's one of Dr. Goodman's primary goals,
Right.
Make you cry less inside and outside, as he always says.
Exactly.
Is there a particular speaker that you're looking forward to seeing most this weekend?
I believe Alan Stern is going to be speaking.
Yep.
And I appreciate a lot of the stuff that he's talked about out in the past about just how to keep younger dentists like ourselves, grounded, in this crazy life that we're kind of diving into, and just how to like make light of a profession that can be kind of brutal sometimes. And how to like kind of stay positive, kind of avoid the burnout, avoid like kind of really getting overwhelmed by the nitty and gritty of the profession itself.
He is such a cool guy. He called me like 2 weeks ago in preparation for Boost Camp, and just basically like gave me confidence. He's like, "You got this, man. You're gonna do great. It's gonna be a great experience." He's such a cool guy. So you'll enjoy his talk. And have you gotten to meet him yet since he's been here?
I believe so. Yeah, I think I talked to him a little.
He's
bit.
around. Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time, Dr. Chan. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
So after I got an opportunity to talk to doctors Mike Scruggs and Bert Chan, I didn't record anything else that night because it was just a little bit too loud, but it was really cool getting to know everybody, getting to share some drinks with everybody. And it was just a really great time, great opening night to a really great event. Had some great opportunities to meet some of the other vendors. And I actually got placed right across the sort of hallway from Pearl, the company Pearl, which does AI in dentistry, helping with diagnoses and looking at radiographs, things like that. And then I call him my next door neighbor directly to my side was Jamie DeBeast with Day One Marketing. So I had an opportunity to talk to both of them over the course of the weekend. Justin is going to be my next interview that I'm going to play. Justin was awesome. Justin is a mountain of a man. He's a huge guy, big football player out of Milwaukee, and it was really cool getting to know him because I think he was having a really good time coming out to an event like this, just because most of the people that were there were either East Coast folks or like Los Angeles, Florida, things like that. So it was really fun to have somebody kind of from the Midwest coming out there. And he was, like I said, kind of my neighbor across the little walkway from me. He was a really cool guy, and he had so many just cool things to share about Pearl and the way that their AI systems work. Here was on the second day I had the opportunity. Technically, it was the first day, but second day that we were there, had the opportunity to pull him aside and ask him a few questions. So here's my interview with Justin Rindt. All right, I'm here with Justin from Pearl. Thanks for being here with me, Justin.
Appreciate it, Will. Happy to be here.
Yeah, and so what does Pearl do? What are you guys looking to get out of this show?
So Pearl, what we do in a nutshell is we're helping reimagine the way doctors communicate with their patients by using visuals like AI. Something that's impactful for the team, but also for the patient as well. How often do you present and sometimes you feel like, hey, is that patient, do they really understand what we're talking about today? Kind of have that glassy look over their eyes? Well, that's part of what AI is doing in technology, is just helping dentists out, helping with their day-to-day, with their team as well. And with this event, what we're trying to get out of it is just meet dentists, meet doctors, meet other vendors. I'm excited to be here, part of this group where you get to show up, have fun, coach, listen to success stories, what's working, what's not working. That's the excitement about what they're building here. And we're, more importantly, we're just here to have fun. All right.
Yeah, totally. Same thing. Yeah. Being a young company like we are, we're just trying to get any opportunity that we can to meet new people and again, other vendors and, and so since everybody's just listening to this on the podcast, they don't know what a mountain of a man you are. But usually when I walk into a room, I'm kind of the huskiest guy in the room, and I look like a pretty tiny guy next to Justin here. But we went out last night and took a couple of docs out to dinner, and that was great. And so I wish you the best of luck on this event, and hopefully you get some contacts.
Thank you, Will. It was a pleasure being on here, being able to interview me a little bit, and I'm looking forward to hanging out with you the rest of the weekend.
Sounds good, Justin. Thank you. All right, so as I said, Justin was my across the hall neighbor, which was kind of cool. It was great to spend time with him, and especially because when the attendees were in their CE courses, we kind of had some downtime where we had an opportunity to share a little bit about what we did, and again talk a little bit about what Pearl does with AI and how there's a lot of compliance elements to that as well, especially when it comes to charting and documentation, things like that. The AI, I'm sure, obviously I don't know all of the way that Pearl works, but those AI systems out there, I'm sure have really, great ways to sort of integrate with your dental software so that they can make notations and things like that in the chart. So reach out to him if you're ever curious about AI. Justin is a really cool guy. He loves to just share all his knowledge with the world about his company, about Pearl, about AI and what it's doing for dentistry. So that was really neat. And as I said, to my left at the, in the exhibit hall, it wasn't really an exhibit hall, in the way that you normally think of it. Nice, small, intimate space. But the next booth to my side was Day One. And Jamie DeBeese is the owner and chief strategist for Day One. And he was just such a cool guy, man. He's so soft-spoken. Everybody else is, we're vendors, right? So we're vendors at a trade show. Most of us are loud and, really kind of big personalities. Jamie's this like very calm, soft-spoken, like just, you can tell that he believes in what he does and he's clearly very, very good at it. Over the course of the weekend, man, I saw so many people coming up to him, talking to him about what he does. I know he's been a long-time sponsor of Dental Nachos as well. And I think this was like his, I don't know, he's been to almost all of them, I think. And we maybe addressed that in the interview. So, but yeah, he was really great. And he's actually going to be joining me in a few weeks for another special episode of our Elevate Compliance podcast, where we're also going to have Parham Nabatian from the Doc Sites is going to be joining us as well. And I'm going to be doing a sort of little bit of a panel, so to speak. And I'm going to be kind of moderating this panel between the two of them. And what we're going to be talking about, we're going to be focusing on reviews, because Parham tends to lean more the way of you probably shouldn't respond to a lot of negative reviews, kind of let them speak for themselves. Jamie is definitely more on the side of, respond to as many as you possibly can. And I like both of their perspectives. They both had a lot of fascinating things to say about reviews. But from my perspective, it's important that you respond a certain way. Whether you choose to do it or not is really up to you. But if you're going to do it, there's a very, there's some finesse required in how you respond, because it's obviously one of those situations where, HIPAA is watching and you don't want to get yourself into a situation like there was a dental practice in Texas during the pandemic that was cited $10,000 because of one negative Yelp review where the doctor responded trying to protect his practice. And ultimately it ended up having some blowback on the office. So that's going to be a panel that's going to be going on soon. And Jamie DeBeese and Parham Nabatian will be on that with me. So that's going to be coming up in a few weeks. But here was my opportunity. I just had a second where I could pull Jamie aside and got to know him a little bit. All right, I'm here with Jamie DeBeese from Day One. Thanks for joining me for just a minute here, Jamie.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Day One, what you do, and who you help.
So my name's Jamie DeBeese. I'm the owner and chief strategist at Day One. We are a digital marketing agency that helps dentists get more of their ideal patients. And we do that through creating a comprehensive digital marketing system for them, which typically includes website design, SEO, ads, social media, but it all begins with coming up with a marketing strategy, which is often lacking with a lot of practices.
What do you find is the biggest lacking thing? That you just don't have one at all, or it's incomplete, combination of both?
I think what I would say is the biggest area is that they have a lot of the boxes checked. I have a website, I have social media presence, I've done some Google ads, but they really haven't had a purpose or a plan or strategy in what types of patients they want to reach, why they want to reach them. And as a result, it's a lot of effort gets wasted rather than putting things together in a way that is a system to try and reach out to an individual group of people.
Okay. That's awesome. So what's your goal behind coming to Boost Camp this weekend?
I love coming to Boost Camp. It's kind of like for me.
Sorry to interrupt. How many times have you come?
I have been to all of them but one.
Okay.
So however many that is.
6 or 7, I think.
That's right, 6 or 7. And I go to, anytime there's a Dental Nachos event, I'm really trying to be here.
Awesome.
It's, for me, coming to this is two things. One, for me, it's like a family reunion, seeing people that I see online, but in real life as well. But also, it gives me a really good opportunity to meet new people. And for me, as a business owner, I definitely enjoy seeing friends and familiar faces. But I do enjoy the networking component. But people that are coming here want to grow their businesses. They want to be successful. Mm-hmm. And that's the group of people that I most want to be around.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking a couple minutes with me, Jamie. I appreciate your time.
Thanks very much, Will.
So one of the other people who was sort of in our little cluster of vendors at Super Dentist Boost Camp was Dental Intelligence, and Ashley Best was the representative who came out to the show. And she was awesome. She was just a absolute, just huge ball of energy. She knows everybody. She talked to everybody. She was just an absolute delight to be around, and I could feel her energy just, in the room. She just lit the whole room up. So she was really awesome. I got an opportunity to kind of pull her aside, talk a little bit about Dental Intelligence and what they do. So here's my interview with Ashley Best. All right, I'm sitting here with Ashley Best from Dental Intel. Thanks for being here with me, Ashley.
Thanks for having me, Will.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about what Dental Intel does for your dental clients.
Yeah, so Dental Intelligence is really the only end-to-end performance solution for practices. And to make it the most simple way I know, I tell practices we're handling everything from the minute the appointment's booked through our online scheduling all the way down to when a dollar's collected, whether that be from a patient or from an insurance carrier. So
that's awesome.
And every stage in between, like just trying to make their life so much easier.
That's great. Hey, that's what I live for too on the compliance side. I get it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Time saver.
Yeah, no kidding. So what's been kind of your biggest win so far of the weekend? I know we're only on kind of day one officially, but
it's crazy.
How's it been so far?
I feel like I've been here 4 days. I've talked to so many people. It's been amazing. Dental Intelligence has sponsored this event for many years. It's my first though. And so awesome. I've heard great things, but I think until you're actually here, you don't quite get it. Right?
100%.
The buzz
I'm with you on that.
It's amazing. The doctors are so excited to learn.
Yeah. And they talk it up, but it's like every bit of it's true. You get here and it's just awesome.
100%. No, it's been great. We've got a lot of existing customers here, which I love hearing their success stories, hearing people come up, tell us that their office couldn't function without us. That just, those stories make you feel amazing. Oh, and then the opportunity to share stories and potentially help new practices is just like you, right? It's a good feeling. So that is awesome. Well, just real quickly before we wrap up, just let our listeners know where they can find you. Or Dental Intel specifically. Yeah, Dental Intel specifically. The best thing, connect with me on LinkedIn, Ashley Best. I love talking to people, but yeah, our website's dentalintel.com if you want to give us a peek, and we're on YouTube as well with some cool videos. So
wonderful. Thank you so much, Ashley. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Will. So after the second night that we were at Super Dentist Boost Camp, I got a message from someone from a company called Duckett Lad. And I recognized the name Duckett Lad because they were vendors or sponsors at Super Dentist Boost Camp, but I didn't recognize the name of the person who contacted me. But his name was Jared, and he was I think he's one of the owners of the company, but he wasn't able to make it to this show. So he wasn't there, but he did send 2 representatives from Duckett Lad to Super Dentist Boost Camp. And so Kristen and Sam were the 2 reps that came out, and it was awesome to get to know them. And we instantly had a special connection because Duckett Lad, both Kristen and Sam and Jared, all live in Springfield, Missouri. And if you're not familiar with Springfield, Missouri, that's totally fine. It's a tiny town in southern Missouri, but I have a lot of family in an area around there called West Plains, which is, again, just another really, really tiny town kind of in southern Missouri. But I have spent a lot of time in Springfield. As I was growing up, my grandparents lived out in that area, so I would spend my summers there, went there a lot. My uncle actually has a house out there, so he and I, go out there fairly often. And so there was an instant connection there with Kristen, Sam, and I, because we all know the area. We know, the restaurants that are there, and it's actually the home base for Bass Pro Shops. They're actually based in Springfield. Their largest flagship location is there. It's a massive Bass Pro. It's really cool. They've got live alligators. It's like, I call it like Bass Pro Disneyland because that's kind of what it is. They've got special attractions there, live animals there. Really, really a cool place. And it's just nestled in this, not that Springfield is a tiny city. I think it's got, a few 100,000 people. So it's a good sized town, but it's not like coming from Seattle, like the big city, right? So it's just kind of neat to have this smaller town, but with this big, big, big attraction and massive aquarium that's there with it. So anyway, that's neither here nor there, but I got an opportunity to really spend some time with Kristen and Sam and got to know them. And they are just such wonderful, beautiful people. So this was a great opportunity. I was like, you know what? I have a few minutes. Let's step aside. Let's have a quick conversation. So here's my interview with Kristen and Sam from Duckett Lad. All right, so I've got here Kristen from Duckett Lad. So hi, Kristen. Thanks for being here with me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and so tell me a little bit about what Duckett Lad does.
So we are dental-specific accountants. So we like to think of ourselves as a little bit more than accountants. We really want to be a member of your team and build a relationship and just create a safe space to talk about numbers and a million other things that are happening in your practice. So course, we do your bookkeeping, produce your financials, kind of go over everything with you every month, and always do your taxes. But just keeping in mind that we want to be more than that too.
Right on, awesome. And then I've also got Sam from Duckett Lad here as well. Hi, Sam.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going great. So tell me, how's been the weekend for you? How's been the event? And have you had a good time here at Dentist Boost Camp?
Yeah, this is my first dental event. And
Mine first too. Well, here, not my first dental event, but my first one here.
Well, this is my first dental
Awesome.
event. This is my first time here, and it's really going great. I think the biggest takeaway for me is, you hear Doc Nacho talk about how this is like an relationally intense community, and I've heard speakers that have proved that to be true. I have met dentists that maybe have a lot of guilt and shame about not understanding their numbers, but they are all open and willing to learning more and supporting each other. And I think it's really incredible to see everybody come together and want to do better.
I agree. And like I said, this is my first time at this particular event. I've been in the industry for 10 years. I've gone to tons of shows. This has hands down been the best one I've been to. It's just so fun. It's intimate. You get to know everybody. You get to meet great people from Springfield, Missouri that I've got my ties back there as well, which is always fun. So thanks for taking a couple minutes with me.
No problem. Great to be here.
All right. So given that this was Super Dentist Boost Camp, which is the sort of flagship event for Dental Nachos, I figured I had to get an opportunity to step aside with Dr. Paul Goodman, Dr. Nacho himself, and hear a little bit about, what he was wanting to do from this event, kind of where it started. And, he is an incredibly busy guy. I think of him as kind of like a celebrity, he's kind of a celebrity in the dental world. And, so he was just flying all over the place the entire weekend. I barely got any time with him because he was just so freaking busy. But I did have an opportunity to pull him aside for a couple of minutes and ask him a couple of questions. Just a little bit about, his experience with the event, where the event kind of originated, where it came from. And one thing that I have to say about him, when I first joined Dental Nachos, he has this amazing team of people that are around him. And most of the time that I had spent was with the team. I hadn't really gotten to know him all that well. Obviously, I'd seen his posts on Dental Nachos. I'd had a little bit of time with him briefly. We do our workout sessions thing. That's what they call them, workout sessions, where they talk about, with the sponsors, how things are going. And really, did not have a lot of time to really get to know him prior to this event. But man, I got to tell you, he is a genuine person, man. Sometimes there are people online, especially in these bigger groups, that kind of get that sort of quote unquote celebrity status, and they really can be kind of arrogant and self-centered and things like that. And he is not. He is all truly about building connections, making it easier for dentists, and really he just wants to see this profession continue to grow and thrive. And I could feel that from him. He really emanates that energy, in the way he talks and the things that he does. And, a lot of times at trade shows as a vendor, I've been doing trade shows with my former company and with Elevate now for 10 years. And there's sometimes a sense when you go into the exhibit hall that the vendors are kind of a nuisance, right? A lot of times the dentists don't really want to talk to the vendors, or they seek out the, few vendors that they really know and trust. And the rest are kind of just annoying. And, it's an exhibit hall. So you kind of get that midway, at the fair, the midway vendors, come on up, step right up, come here, sweetheart, that kind of feeling that you have sometimes when you're on an exhibit hall floor. And the first thing, on day one, we're all sitting together, and Dr. Goodman says to the entire room of people, this is vendors, this is speakers, this is attendees. He says, I want you to look at all the sponsors in the room, all of the vendors, because this event would not be possible without them. And he really believes in his sponsors and his vendors. And it really just meant a lot to me that he did that, because a lot of these shows, the vendors are paying a lot of money to be a part of the events, and really they're the ones who fund it. And oftentimes they get treated the worst. And it's just kind of a weird, approach to the people who are making this thing happen are often not treated the best. And he wanted to change that paradigm. And so I really loved that. It was just, it meant a lot to me that he pointed that out right from the get-go. He's also a hilarious guy. He's got great jokes. And he says, ROI, return on investment, doesn't just have to mean return on investment. He believes ROI can also mean relationships, opportunities, and the impact that you have on others. And again, that just goes to show the kind of person that he is, right? So I got an opportunity to pull him aside for just a couple minutes and just ask him a couple of quick questions. And I figured while I'm here, I got to have the opportunity to talk to the man himself, Dr. Nacho. So here's my short interview with Dr. Paul Goodman. All right, I've got the man, the myth, the legend, Dr. Paul Goodman, Dr. Nacho here with me. Thanks for taking a minute with me, Doc.
Oh, my pleasure.
So this is my first time at Super Dentist Boost Camp, and I got to say, man, this has been a great experience. It's been
So
an
glad.
absolute blast. So how many years have you been doing this event?
It started in 2018, an event like this. I had the idea to bring like a live studio audience. I'm a kid of the 80s, so I like live studio audience. So we brought in like 20 dentists around the country. We live streamed it to dentists at home. And that was in 2018. It was called New Dentist Boost Camp. That was for dentists 0 to 6 years out of school.
Okay.
So this boost camp, instead of boot camp philosophy, was to build people up, teach them what they should have learned in dental school but didn't, teach them to learn about their dentistry core, which I call their mind skills, their word skills, their hand skills, and their heart skills. So we've had, I think we're up to close to 10. We've had New Dentist Boost Camp, Practice Owner Boost Camp, Super Dentist Boost Camp, Business Boost Camp. So this one really is Super Dentist Boost is the brand, and this one is Practice Ownership Edition. We're helping people who just bought a practice or ones who want to buy a practice soon.
That's awesome. So of the lectures, because I wanted to make sure that obviously for the clinical side, not my skill set, so I let those lectures go. Which one do you think has been the most impactful? Or and I mean, I'm sure you want to say great things about everybody, but is there one that stuck out to you particularly?
Well, the theme of this year is be a role model, find a role model, be a role model, find a role model. So if you're an associate dentist, you can be a role model to the dental students here. If you're a practice owner, you can be a role model to the associates. So what Dr. Darcy shared, she was in a boost camper herself. She came back and spoke for the first time last year. I called this Rocky 2. She gave us an update. When you look at Dr. Darcy, you think, man, she has it all together. She's got everything going for her as a mom and a practice owner, doing things. And she was really struggling. She didn't really like her dental practice. She told me she wanted to return it. I said, you can't return your dental practice, Darcy. Yeah. I helped her get a coach, and she should be so proud of what she's done. She's invested in CE. She's improved her production. She can spend more time with her children. So I just think her story and her lecture just has so much impact because so many dentists feel like her. But we've had so many talks, CE courses that have echoed the same message of invest in yourself. Don't be dentist cheap. Don't do this alone. So the entire Boost Camp collection people get from this will be awesome.
Which is so cool. And I love the Rocky 2 reference, because guess what happens in Rocky 2? He wins.
Yeah,
he wins
yes,
in Rocky
exactly.
2. So
Right, yes.
Apollo Creed, and how fitting for being here in Philly. So thank you so much for your time, Doc. Appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. I want to tell you, thank you for supporting this as a sponsor. We could not do this without amazing people like you. You share your awesomeness with us. You help people do better, run their offices better. So we appreciate that so much.
All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning into this kind of short special edition episode of the Elevate Compliance podcast. I just really wanted to share my experiences there at Super Dentist Boost Camp, because it was just an incredible experience. Like I said, I have been doing trade shows for 10 years in dentistry. None of them have come anywhere close to this event. It was really, truly something special. So if you're listening to this podcast today and you are a new practice owner, or you are thinking about buying a practice in the next few years, maybe you're an associate and you're looking to make that jump, I want you to understand, as I am sort of advertising this, I am not doing this. They did not ask me to say this. I'm not being paid to say this. You need to go, okay? I'm telling you, it will change your life. The people that I met there, the relationships that I've built, completely changed the trajectory of my business. And again, all of these things I am saying, not at the request or payment of Dental Nachos or Paul Goodman or any of them. These are just things that I can say from my heart, speaking truthfully about the amazing experience that I had. So truly, if it's something that you're considering next year, it's going to be again at the Lowe's Hotel in Philly next year. It's also just a really cool hotel. You stay in the hotel. There's a restaurant in the hotel. It's got good food. There's also just amazing food, literally within minutes of walking away or walking, around a couple blocks away from the hotel. It was just a really, really cool experience. And you get so much time with the speakers, with the sponsors, with the other attendees. You're going to build relationships. You're going to build friendships. And it's going to really make a difference in your career. So if you get an opportunity to go, I strongly suggest it. Reach out to the Dental Nachos team, tell them that I told you that you should come. Again, I'm not getting any kickbacks. I'm not doing this by their request. I just cannot rave enough about this really cool event. So thanks again for tuning in for this special edition episode of the Elevate Compliance podcast. We will be coming back just to finish our season in the next few weeks. We took a little bit of time off. It's been about a month and a half since our last episode, but we've got Enzo Cison from Prism Marketing in San Francisco coming on our next episode. And then after that, we will have Aditi Agarwal, a dentist in Redmond, Washington, as well as the owner of Practice by Numbers, coming coming on a couple weeks after that. And then we'll be finishing up our season in late September, early October with that panel that I mentioned earlier with Parham and Jamie DeBeest from day one. So stay tuned for those. It's going to be a really great sort of end to the season here as we get close to the start of fall. And again, I appreciate your time. Have a good one.